Listen to this story. This is Moussa. Moussa is a 22-year-old engineering graduate from a small town called Lingua. Moussa graduated top of his class. He was the best in his class. Moussa loves engineering a lot, and he sees himself to be a very, very big engineer in future. Moussa just started his career, and he heard about an announcement made on the radio about a bridge that is supposed to be constructed in his town, Lingua. So every engineer in that town had to apply in the government office. So Moussa started planning on this. Moussa planned on his project for 2 months. And after 2 months, it was time for everyone to submit their project. So on that day, Moussa dressed up very well and left his house so early. Moussa took a cab to go to the government building. In the cab, while going to the government building, he saw a police checkpoint from afar. Then he started searching his pocket if he took his ID card or if he didn't. On their way approaching the police checkpoint, he spoke to the driver. "What if I've forgotten my ID card?" The driver said, "Don't worry, there is no problem." So while they approached the police checkpoint, the driver took out a 2,000 francs note and just slipped it in the hands of the police officer because he didn't want the police officer to check his car or to check his documents. On their way to the office, the driver told Moussa, "I haven't paid my insurance since last year. If I don't do this, I will not be able to drive freely in town." Moussa just nodded his head in grief. In his mind, he's like, if 2,000 francs can help you circulate in the city, will I really have this project? Will I have the opportunity to have this project? But in his mind, at the same time, he was thinking on God that he might have the project. Still, Moussa kept hoping and hoping for the best. So Moussa arrived at the government building and he entered the office. In the office, he saw Mr. John, the head director of the building. When he met Mr. John told him to explain his project. Moussa was so happy to explain, so he sat down with Mr. John and started explaining his project. Barely after 5 minutes of talking, a man walked in. When Mr. John saw the man, he smiled, greeted the man, and the man greeted him as well. They sat down for a while to talk, just close to Moussa, but in another room. Then when the man was about leaving, he handed a brown envelope to the building director, Mr. John. Moussa saw the man handing an envelope to the building director, Mr. John, but he didn't care that much about it because he didn't know what is going on. So when Mr. John, the building director, got back into the room, he apologized to Moussa that he's sorry for letting him wait. Moussa said, "Okay, no problem," and continued explaining his project. After 10 minutes, Moussa was done explaining his project and he went out of the building, hoping that they will call him. So when he went home, the next day he received no call. He was still hoping that maybe the next day they will call him again. But unfortunately, he didn't receive a call. Later on, when he came back home in the evening, he tuned to his radio, and on the news, he heard that the project was given to Mr. Jean-Paul. Mr. Jean-Paul had no experience in engineering. Mr. Jean-Paul was a businessman and a marketer. Moussa was so sad and very bitter. Engineering was his life. Engineering was his soul. He explained this to his parents, and when his parents heard about it, they smiled and said, "Oh, Moussa, don't worry, this is Cameroon. It is not yet your time. Moussa, don't worry. We wish we had money, but unfortunately, we don't have money. We are poor." Moussa was crushed and he was so bitter. Moussa knew that if he doesn't make money, he might become miserable. And the engineering field is too costly for Moussa to start if he doesn't have a good project to support him. In the misery of poverty, Moussa thought about starting a small business. So Moussa went to the market and bought plastic containers to start selling, and he started his business while the project in his town was going on. The project went on and the project was completed. After a year, due to heavy rains in the town, a heavy storm passed and the bridge was broken. The bridge was not far from the market, so Musa could see it from his small shop. This is a bridge connecting the town to the market. Everyone used it. Everyone depended on this bridge. When he heard the bridge was broken, he was so sad. He could see it from his shop. There was no way. Town dwellers were just struggling to find a way to cross. Business became slow and everything was hard.